The Crotchety Old Men podcast is not a registered investment, legal, or tax advisor or a broker-dealer. All investment financial opinions expressed by or on the Crotchety Old Men podcast are from the personal research and experience of the owner of the site and are intended as educational material. Although best efforts are made to ensure that all information is accurate and up to date, occasionally unintended errors and misprints may occur. Before you invest or make any investment-based decisions, consider your own personal circumstances. You should do your own research and seek advice from a financial professional.
What a wonderful day it is with the Crotchety Old Men podcast. Hi, I'm Gary Smith, your host today, and joining me in the studio is my main man. I almost said Paul, George.
Yeah, we're missing our third partner, PC.
Yes, indeed. Boy, but PC is off on another assignment, so got George and I holding it down today.
Yeah, we've got the dual Crotchety Old Men today. How's everything going, Smitty?
Everything's going my way today. I got up, praise God. When I hit the floor, old Satan said, "Oh, shucks, man, that old man is up again. Let me go find somebody else to mess with." So I'm wondering.
Life is good. Life is good.
Oh, my goodness, it is. Thanks, yeah. God. Thank you.
So what are we talking about today, Smitty?
Well, George, I thought it would be a good time to talk about debt. I mean, there's good debt and there's bad debt. And certainly we want to make sure that our listeners understand the difference between the two and certainly understand how to leverage or use debt to our advantage. That's what I was thinking about. Okay. And so, when you talk about good debt and bad debt, and George, you're a professor at this because I tell you, man, when it comes to that debt thing, there's two things you don't really care a lot for, and that's paying taxes and being in debt.
That's right. That's right. Interest and taxes, we're going to try to figure out how to minimize those as much as possible. We're going to do what the law says we got to do, but we're going to try to minimize as much as possible. The favorite story I always tell, and I'll drop this name. It's Sam's Club because that's where I get my gas and I buy plenty of it. So, I get that 5% cash back card. I go and buy my gas. So I'm getting my gas a little bit cheaper than everybody else because, it's a big box store. They didn't figure out how to do that. And then I pay that off every month. So I'll tell you, I got a check for $237 this year.
See?
Back from, Sam's Club. So here again, I'm buying my gas cheaper. I'm paying no interest because I'm paying it off every month. And then they're giving me 5% on what I'm spending. I mean, I don't see why everybody's not doing that.
Man, when you say that louder so the people in the back can hear you.
That to me is good debt. They're going to, at the end of the year, and they send in on a big email. Congratulations. They're going to give me $225 back.
Mm-hmm.
Back. Like I said, I haven't paid them any interest all year because I make sure, if nothing else, I pay that bill off every month. So, I just manage it. It has a threshold, so and that 5%. So, those are the kind of things that you have to do to maintain, because I can spend that $225. I can spend it at Sam's Club on food, or I can take it and spend it on something, spend it on my wife, spend it on vacation, spend it on but that's hard, cold cash.
Another thing I do, we do is that, there's an annual fee for being a member of Sam's Club. So I just, okay, here's your $100 fee out of this $200 till we get that.
There you go.
Oh, everything is free. Free 99.
Those are the kind of things that you have to recognize as far as, good debt and bad debt. So let me give you another example. Okay, so, you got a house, you got equity in your house. You can go get a line of credit equity loan. And basically the good thing about a line of credit is they only charge you interest on the amount that you borrow. So if you get, say, your ceiling is $10,000, but you only need $2,000, they're only going to charge you the interest rate on that $2,000 that you borrow. Okay, so, what do you use that for? Home improvements. You got a home, you're going to always, it's a roof, it's a refrigerator, it's garden work, whatever. But you can use that as opposed to going out bad debt, that high interest that some of these other big box stores are going to charge you, 18 to 23 to 25. You want to stay away from that at all costs. So
Yeah.
that's another example of good debt is a line of credit on your house. And I recommend, because that's what I did when I bought my first house. The first thing I did, went to the bank, got a line of credit.
Mhm.
That's the thing I just recently learned about a line of credit is, if you borrow $5,000 on your line of credit and you pay it off in 30 days, they don't charge you no interest at all.
Look at that. Look at that.
So they
Isn't
just
that
get
something?
you. So it becomes a timing issue. You may need a couple grand at the beginning of the month. You go get it from your line of credit, so you're really borrowing from yourself. Turn around, pay it off before the end of the month because you got another source of money coming in. They don't charge you no interest at all. So you just use their money for free.
Wow. Wow. Simple things like that.
Simple things. Yeah, simple things. Simple
It's
things.
another example of some good debt, George.
Let's see. So we talked about cash, but how about refinancing a rental property? You
Yes.
think about it. We always talk about multifamily, rental property. So once you get that loan down anywhere past 80% loan to value, that money's there for the taking. So you can refinance, and as long as it falls within what the renters are paying, why not get that cash influx? Go ahead and get a little cash out of those rental properties. The rent is going to pay it for it, so you're not paying on it monthly, but now you got cash to do whatever you want. Go buy another piece of property, go on vacation, whatever you want. You can go take that money. I suggest you put it in something that's going to make you more money.
There you go. Yep.
That's the
And
best
that,
use of it.
absolutely. And in addition to that, because you're taking it out as a loan, loans are not taxable.
Right.
So here it is. You're taking your money out that maybe you put into the property, which calls your basis, your cost basis, or what have you. And
Right.
then you turn right around and refinance it or take out a loan on the property. So now you're getting all that money back tax free to do just what George said. Take that money, like we like to say here at the Crotchety Old Men, wash, rinse, and repeat. Go buy you something else that's going to make you more money. Okay. And that's the key, making your money. Your money is like slaves. You put them to work. If your money's sitting somewhere dormant, I asked a person the other day, they had a equity, about $400,000 or $500,000 of equity in their house. And I asked them, I said, what's the rate of return on that equity? And they thought about it, a little question for, just a little silence there. And then they said, none. I said, right, zero.
Zero. That's right. Zero.
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 So George, you hit on a real good spot there, man. You got $400,000. You're not broke. You just knowledge broke. Okay, you're not cash poor. You're knowledge poor, because there's $400,000 that can be put to use to buy another property, to do another investment that's going to do what? Pay you more money back than what you put into it.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things. One of the challenges when you get to that good old retirement age is a lot of people say, "I'm gonna pay my house off." Some people say, "I'm not gonna pay my house off." So I'm one of those. Why pay my house off if I got a low mortgage note and I've got what did we just come out of, a 2 to 3% interest rate?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, they're almost paying me.
Yeah.
With the interest that low, but
Yep.
they allow me to pull out, like you say, large sums of money, a couple 100,000 at a low interest rate, and for me to have to pay it back, I'd rather have the cash up front, because I can use the cash up front to create other cash generating types of vehicles that's going to input that monthly note. So yeah. You have to look
Absolutely.
at things, like you say, does equity really benefit you if it's just sitting on the paper? No, it doesn't benefit you until you take it out. But the key is, when you take it out, have something purposeful to do with it. It's not just to take out and just to spend, willy nilly. You want to be able to put it into something that's going to generate more income.
Absolutely. And so that's unknowingly, so many people turn good debt into bad debt.
Yeah. Yeah.
with a stroke of a pen.
And it's just that easy. But before we jump into the bad debt, I want to talk about one more thing about good debt is the zero. You'll see these things you get in the mail. Once your credit score gets to a certain amount, you get these things in the mail. 0% financing for 18 months, 24 months. You have to look at those and figure out how that's going to benefit you. For example, if they always have a fee for doing it. They're going to charge you 2% or 3%, which is not bad. So if you look at it, if I'm going to pay 3% up front to get money to get something for say 18 months no interest, it may benefit you, because when you look at what that's going to cost at a 22-23% interest for that same period of time, here again, it's going to be bad debt because you're paying all this interest. So for example, if it's $6,000, 3%, I think up front is like $180. That's what you'd pay up front, but then you got 18 months to pay no interest. The key is pay it off in 17 months. Therefore, here again, you've used that $6,000 for $180, as opposed to paying the normal mortgage, the normal interest on it. So that's how you would make that look like good debt.
That's right. That is so powerful. When you talk about things like interest and debt, it's like a double-edged sword, debt is, and when used properly, you can accomplish a whole heck of a lot. But when used improperly, it can put you in a hole deeper than you can ever think you ever been. And so, some of these companies are out there, those payday loans and those type of things. And I always say that, you cannot borrow your way out of debt. And so the best way to stay out of debt, particularly bad debt, we're not saying, no debt or what have you, but to stay out of bad debt is to make good debt decisions. Okay. What I mean by that, buying things that's going to depreciate. I mean, everybody likes a nice ride. All right. We're not immune to that. And I think on one of our other episodes, we talked about how we position ourselves where other people or other past income can buy that new car or whatever. But until you get to that point, get you a nice used car that hopefully you can pay cash for. Or if you can't pay cash for it, at least it's to the point where you're not paying an exorbitant amount of money for that car. Or especially if you're borrowing money to pay for that car. Right? Because that's a depreciating asset. And all it's going to do is continue to become worth less and less. And if you're not paying those payments, or you're in a high interest rates category, now you're paying, heck, if you may have paid $10,000 cash for a vehicle, but if you finance it for 72 months, you end up paying $15,000 for the same car. Right. You lost the opportunity to invest that other $5,000 to make you money. That's what we're talking about, y'all. Don't turn good debt into bad debt.
Yeah. And like you said, we're not saying don't have any debt, because, here again, if you heard any of the Crotchety Old Men podcast, we always talk about using other people's money.
That's right.
And using other people's money does come with a cost, but you can minimize that cost by using the correct calculations to get to where you want to be. For example, you may borrow money at a higher interest, 10% interest rate, but then if you can turn around and whatever assets you buy generates more income, you can pay off that high interest loan that you just took very quickly, and therefore still have the higher paying asset. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's so much information out here. We live in an information age. We're glad that you tune in to the Crotchety Old Men podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, because that's why we're here, to make sure that we are able to give you factual information, not just theory. A lot of the information that we share is our own personal information, personal experiences and stuff. And certainly there's enough information out there in terms of books, seminars, and stuff that you can educate yourself, because education in yourself pays the highest, best interest.
We'll be right back.
The artist worked alone, crafting her masterpieces in her own little corner of the world. She was passionate about her work and the thrill of creating something out of nothing. See how she let her creativity run wild at SharonCrumleyStudios.com.
We're back.
All right, let's get into this bad debt, which everybody probably already knows what's going to be on here, but we're going to go through it just for the heck of it. The first thing is obviously on the mind. The bad debt is high interest credit cards.
Woo.
If you've got a credit card and you've got a balance that exceeds what you can pay off on a monthly basis, that is bad debt. And I'll be honest with you, man, I can't really remember the last time I paid a 20-something% interest rate. Like I said, if I charge it, I can pay it off tomorrow. I can pay it off at the end of the month because I want to make sure I ain't charging over an amount that I can't pay off. So that's the key, is to be able to manage credit cards. We're not saying don't have it, but we're saying know how to manage it, understand it, and be in that 30-day window wherever you can be.
Yes.
Going along with that high interest rate is buying food or other perishable items on a credit card. I mean, to me,
Oh my goodness.
you
Millennials,
may,
we're talking about you.
man, you may enjoy that meal tonight, but if you let that roll over to the next month, you paying for that meal again and again and again, and you do not want to be there.
That's right.
22% interest on a meal that you had 2 months ago.
Yes.
Revolving credit. That's like the devil. That's revolve. You don't want that. You
That's a
do
good
not. You do not want anything that's revolving, not in your favor.
Absolutely. That's for sure. I like that one, man. Revolving just like the devil. That's you doggone right about that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because these credit card companies are loving you. Oh yeah, just keep on spending. Oh yeah, pay $60 a month. Oh yeah, minimum. They put it on your statement now. The minimum you can pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The minimum you can pay, that benefits them.
That benefits
Read
them.
that book, The Banker's Code. The
There you
Banker's
go.
Code will tell you about that and how that interest was created. It's created to make the banks happy, not you.
I tell people all the time, don't be a financial crackhead. All right.
Mm-mm,
Instant
mm-mm.
gratification. You go to a Macy's or whatever, they go, soon they go, oh, you want a Macy's card? You can save 25%. Oh, you want to get a JC Penney's card? Go to any of these major retailers. And the first thing they want to do is give you a credit card. And if you're in there in the right or the wrong time, I would say you'll take it because it's what? Convenient.
And you know what I say, Smitty? Can I pay it off standing right here? And that's what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
I'll because you go to Macy's and they'll say, okay, we're going to give you an additional 20% off. Now the items that you're buying are already 15 to 25% off. So now you're talking about 50 some odd percent off, and just to fill out this credit card. So I'll fill it out, I'll get the credit, and then as soon as they say, okay, we put it on your card, I'll go to customer service or where it is, and I'll just pay it off. So I've just saved 50% off, but I've got that extra 20% off just because I filled out my name and I got good credit score and they approved it immediately. But you got to do that. You got to know to do that, because once you walk out that store with that debt on you, they win.
That's
That's
right.
what they're counting on, that you're going to walk out happy with that item. But it ain't 50% savings if you let it roll to the next month, because you just gave them 22% of it back.
Yep. Just gave it right back just that quick.
And they
Unknown.
playing the odds. They're playing the odds that you're going to be one of those guys that ain't even going to think about it till you get the statement.
Yep.
And then you're going to see that statement that says minimum payment $12. And you say, oh, yeah, I just paid this $12.
Mm-hmm.
They got
That's how
you.
they get you.
They got you.
They got you.
They
Yes,
got you.
sir. They got you. What's some more
Another
about?
thing I got on the list is buying a new car as opposed to a used car.
There you go.
I mean, you can buy a car. I mean, the way cars are now, the body styles don't change, every 3 years? You keep it clean. You can buy a car 3 years old, keep it clean. Nobody will never know. But it don't matter what nobody else thinks, what you know. It's
I just
you. You the one rolling.
it
You
doesn't
know.
matter. You know, heck, to this day, I buy me some new car smell. And my car is brand new every day. I could care
And
less about a brand new car.
new cars ride good when they're clean and when they paid for.
There you go. Oh man,
Man,
when they're paid for, they ride so smooth, so smooth.
a new car is only new one time, because once
That's
you drive it off the lot, it ain't new no more. It's
new no more.
used.
Mm-mm.
It ain't new. So
Nope.
hey, don't get hung up on I got to have the newest and brightest, because
That's
the used car might be just as nice and could even be better. It could even be
absolutely.
better. Let's see
That's
what else is on my list. We talked about any debt, credit card debt carried forward monthly. Financing from big box stores, you got to be careful about that. Financing home improvement, kind of talk about that. Get a line of credit. If you got a lot of stuff to do on your house, get a line of credit.
yeah.
That'll ease that really easily, and you can control it. They may charge you 8 to 10% on a line of credit, but like I said, you only pay it on the amount that you owe, whereas opposed to credit cards, it's just going to be 20% on the amount that you owe. So
Yeah.
it's a big difference. Big difference.
it's a mindset change too. And we get it. Everybody's not going to get it on the first episode. That's why we encourage you to listen to these episodes again. All right, because I guarantee you, some of the things that we say in here you're going to miss. But then when you go back and listen to it again, you think, I missed that. So here's what we want to make sure that you do. Just like you was talking about this borrowing money, you get it from your line of credit or what have you. So what if they charge you 7%? I think that's what's going right now, 7%. But if you use, it's what you use that line of credit for. If you're going to buy some property, and we're always going back to our real estate principles, you're buying some real estate and you're going to make 12, 13% return on buying this property that's cash flowing. Well, you just taking advantage of the leverage between that 7% and that 13. You just made 6% to the good. And the tenant, or whoever it is that, the cash flow coming from your property is going to pay that 7 back. You're just paying yourself back. It's better to be in a position. You become the bank. And I think that's what George was talking about earlier. I know that's what you were saying earlier when you talked about the banker's code. It's a mindset, y'all. You got to change your mindset. You can be your own bank. You can become your own lender if you position it right and you change your mindset.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hit back on that car thing one more time because I kind of breezed over it. We kind of laughed about it, but think about it. A car dealer, especially these buy here, pay here lots, and also your big box, car places. They not only make money on the car. In fact, the portion that they make on the car is probably just enough to pay the sales guy. Where they really make their money is on the financing. When you say, we're going to finance this car, and they're going to provide the financing. So you got to have a process in which you go through to buy a car. The first thing you want to do is you want to go to your credit union or wherever whatever financial institution is going to give you the best rate. You get approved for a loan, then you go see the car guy, and then you negotiate the car down to the best price. Beat them up. Get that price down really low, and then and never mention how you're going to finance it. Never bring it up. Then once you get to agree on that price, then that's when you spring it on. Oh yeah, I'm paying cash for this. What do you mean you paying cash? Well, yeah, I'm paying cash. I'm gonna write you a check. Mm-hmm. And the reason you're able to write the check because you already have a check from the credit union or from whatever institution you got. Because that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna give you a check. So to the car dealer, you are paying cash, and we know cash is king.
Cash is king.
You just made that because that's what you want to. You walk on and say, so how much is it's X? So how much is it if I'm paying cash? They're gonna get real happy about that. So use those tools. Use those tools.
Yes,
definitely.
Yes. They're there for the using.
A couple more things on my list. Financing a vacation. Man, you're gonna have a great time on that vacation. If you finance that vacation, you're gonna be paying for the next 6 to 8 to 10 a year, depending on where you went. You do not want to. It could prevent you from taking another vacation. If you want to take a vacation, just like you plan to where you want to go, plan by saving for it. However you want to do it, take a percentage of your check or whatever money coming in, save. Because I'm telling you, a vacation is more savoring and more enjoyable when you come back and you ain't got to look at no bills. Yeah, you can charge some things, but pay them off at the end of the month, and you're good to go. And you can look at the pictures. You can look at the pictures of that vacation. You don't have to look at that statement every month. And you still paying for that vacation. That's bad debt. Bad planning and bad debt.
Bad debt.
That's the vacation that keeps giving.
Stay away from bad debt. All right.
Anything you want to throw on this list, Minnie?
Well, I think let's see here. We covered business debt, didn't we? That's the that's good debt.
That's good debt.
That's the good debt. I can't think of any other bad debt. We talked about the vendor debt. Of course, if you need a new roof or need stuff like that, if you can borrow it from yourself, like you said, with the HELOCs or the line of credit, that's best to do that. Especially if you're not going to pay it off within that before that time goes. Beware of that 0 interest stuff, and that furniture companies are very known to do. I don't know, George. I think we may have hit it all on that bad debt. Because, we're so focused on good debt that our bad debt list is a short list. Okay. But there's a lot of potential over there in making sure you focus on the good debt. And I'm like this. If you focus on the good debt, the bad debt will take care of itself.
There you go. Well, good. So what's our word for today? What you got for us?
Well, the word for the day is this. as we go through life and we look for opportunities, I put it like this: all problems are profits in disguise. Okay? Look for problems. But here's the word that I'm going to leave with you. Your smile is your logo. Your personality, that's your business card. And the people that you meet and how you make them feel, that's your trademark. So, their life, make sure that you make everyone feel like there's something in them, because there is. And with that being said, if you didn't know before you tune in today, now you know.
Now you know. All right. Crotchety Old Men Podcast. Peace.
Peace.
This is Dr. Paul Clemens with the Crotchety Old Men Podcast. If you're interested in financial tools to build wealth, and you're interested in ways to maximize your health through holistic alternatives, then you are just the audience that we're looking for. Tune in each week, every Thursday, to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast, where George Crumley, Gary Smith, and I offer you in-depth discussions on health and wealth. Subscribe to the Crotchety Old Men Podcast on Google, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your favorite podcast.